All right, good evening, everybody. Just going to do a quick overview of NQ, looking at this coming week. Just going to give my take on it um, and see what I would like to have play out, what I'm looking at as far as the daily structure and timing of everything, and just kind of give a brief synopsis of that. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and just see where we're at so far with the daily structure. So if we look at this area that we created, we've had a nice expansion out of the daily order block. We've come all the way down there to this level, and we've kind of rebalanced this whole leg up. So we have a balanced area right here. You can see that pretty much candle bodies come down all the way to here, not quite. What we have noticed though is that as we've dug into this balanced area, where let's say we were using this as an order block, we've had price kind of stall right in here. Okay. We had a low set in on Tuesday, but really this initial Monday created this low and price failed to close below this low. Okay, so Thursday came close, but we immediately had a change in the state of delivery where Friday closed um, above Thursday's open. And this little pattern here suggests for me that we're going to see some sort of retracement. I'm going to bring out a couple tools that I like to use to check just basics for confluence. So let's just look at EMAs real quick. Um, Looking at the EMAs, with the heavy expansion, typically you do get ahead of the EMAs. And so as they're catching up, at some point there has to be some sort of distribution reaccumulation before there's continuation. And usually we see some sort of EMA hit where we're going to see kind of the mid range of this ribbon, EMA ribbon, get tagged. What I have marked out here is a weekly fair value gap. We'll get into that, and we'll continue to divulge on that. So just another thing of confluence where we are getting up to these EMAs, we've outpaced them, and now we should see some retracement back up into them. Okay, it's one confluence. I like to use average true range as well. So if we throw these on, this is on a swing level, so it captures a month at a time. And for the month of March, we pretty much, here's March 3rd, here's February 28th. So March 3rd, we opened up right around neutral between the call and the put trigger. Candle bodies started accumulating right around the put trigger, and we saw the continued sell-off. And then we sold off really hard, coming all the way down to +2 ATR. And then price started distributing right around there. Okay, so another confluence that really we should see some sort of retracement back up as we've hit a pretty deep average true range of price. Okay, so we'll go ahead and close that off. Again, these are just little things I use for confluence um, because as I always say, if you can trade with the daily bias, your odds of trading successfully are going to be much higher. Okay, so now that we have those things knocked out, um, with the balancing of this area, what are we looking for? Okay, so if price either runs a low, okay, or a high, or rebalances an area, price should seek to rebalance a part of the leg that needs rebalancing before continuing. This is where I'm going to draw your attention. This is what I'm looking at. As I move up this price leg, 1 second, we'll just reverse real quick. This area where price consolidated heavily and then we drove through. Let's just cover with this right here. Let's throw a box on this, on the candle bodies. Okay. This is the candle that closed out of that price range. See, I'm highlighting the candle bodies. Okay, this is where price was held. Price cannot close out of this price range. We close out of this price range, come up, back into the box, reject, and come back down, which happens to be a fair value gap. What we get right here is we get a closure of this gap where price runs all the way through the gap. Even though we don't get a counterbody that closes through it, we get a counterbody that closes about halfway, but it wicks through, kind of balancing this area already. This area is pretty balanced right here. We got a lot of overlap, and then we get down to this area. So as I'm looking at this area on the daily level, the things that I'm looking at is we got a pretty big imbalance right here. We have Thursday that closed. We have Friday that gapped up, makes a giant wick, and leaves us a tiny body. And then Monday we have gap down. Okay, so really what we're missing here is we're missing candle body that will up close through here. Okay, because Friday did not open up with Thursday's close. So we need up close through here and down closed through here to balance this area. Not saying we're necessarily going to get all of that in this coming week. But what I'm looking for is I'd like to see some sort of movement out of this range up here where we can get a candle body to at least close somewhere in here. This is the weekly fair value gap that I have marked right here. Okay, so if we could run this high and kind of tag the 50% of the weekly fair value gap, or maybe up in here, and get those candle bodies through there, that would be great to see that by Wednesday, which is FOMC. So what I'd like to see is Monday run up, Tuesday kind of continuation, not have as big of a candle body, and I'd like to see Wednesday give us the candle body down through here and maybe reject Wednesday's CE of this wick and then continue down. And then depending on Thursday, Friday, I still have to take a look at what kind of news we have other than JPOW and FOMC on Wednesday. We'll determine how far I'm looking to go for those days. Obviously, we have our Thursday, Friday candle of last week right here. And what do we have for targets? We do have these Friday equal lows. That would be cool if we could get Wednesday down, Thursday down into here, and then a Friday continuation through. So that's what I'm looking at. So for the first 2.5 days, basically Monday, Tuesday going into Wednesday, I would like to see price move up into this area and rebalance this little daily imbalance. Weekly fair value gap matches up. That's looking good. Let's just go to the weekly real quick. Always want to start with our higher time frame. So we do have a weekly imbalance that sits there as well. Not necessarily looking for this to be close through. If we did, that would mean if we want to see a down close candle through here, that means we'd have to see some sort of up close candle. So the week would finish strong, and that would negate what I was talking about on the daily. And then the following week, we'd continue down. I'm kind of more looking at hoping this week's going to reach up here, tap into the weekly fair value gap, then continue down and kind of negate this weekly order block that we're kind of slowly moving through. We closed up last week right here, which is more than 50% of this. Still have our equal lows down here. And to me, this is a weekly order block that's been tested. And I'd like to see this used one more time as kind of a nice rebound point. So if we just highlight this here, we can see how many times it's been tested. Okay. Expands, test, expands, test, really expands, and then we had the push higher. So this order block aligns with the weekly equal lows, which is nice. So this is my ultimate target for price to reach here. We'll see how long it takes us to get there. That's my ultimate price. So then we'll just keep analyzing weekly down to the daily, and then we'll check in on 4 hour. Okay. Daily time theory, candles colored here. Let's go 4 hour, what are we looking at? For confluence. All right. So here's our daily imbalance. Here's our weekly fair value gap. Couple of swing highs. That'd be nice for a 4 hour market maker buy model. Okay. So we have this wick right here. We have a 9 a.m. low that was set in. Notice how we're not closing below this low. And we have a 9 a.m. candle that runs this low. And then we start seeing price expanding out of this area. I have an alert set right here that I'd like to see price kind of dip down into possibly before expanding up more. But got our false high put in, so that's nice. It's going to be a nice target. It's a 5 a.m. candle, so we'll see if we can get some 5 p.m., 9 p.m., maybe like a 1 a.m. tap into the top of this candle maybe. We'll see. What do we have right here? A 1 a.m. Here's a 1 a.m. open that sits right at the top. Okay, of this 1 a.m. candle. That'd be nice to get around maybe a London low of session. And then we start seeing some expansion higher. We do have the 9 a.m. devil's mark. Okay, so a lot of confluence for stuff lining up and being able to kind of continue this pattern up here. All right. That is my take on NQ. Those are my thoughts. That's what I'm looking at. So I hope everyone has a safe trading week. If you have any questions on daily time theory or 4 hour time theory, you can go to my X. You can go to my YouTube channel. There's a free Discord. All my content is free, and it's delivered pretty much weekly for those that are interested. All right, everyone, you guys take care. Have a great week.